All right, and we are back. Welcome to another episode of Joel's Mind. Today I'm accompanied by a really good friend of mine, Andrea Espinoza. Shout out to her. Thank you for coming on to Joel's Mind. Today
Thank you
we're
for
going to
having
have,
me.
absolutely, we're going to have a really good conversation about confidence. And to be honest, I don't think I can think of anyone else that I would have a good conversation about this with. So
Sweet. I'm excited. I know. I love talking about this kind of stuff.
definitely. So, all right. So just to introduce Andrea real quick, we go back in high school.
Yeah, it was high school.
Yeah, and so we know each other for a couple of years. I actually remember my desk that I had back in the day.
Mm.
You had wrote your name on it. I still had it there, but my parents ended up getting rid of the desk.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah. I remember it was.
I was just tagging stuff up, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone did.
Yeah.
Everyone's name was on that desk.
Yeah.
But,
I remember that.
yeah, good time. So,
Mm.
um, I know you have your own website.
Mm.
Is it Diesel House?
Yes,
Diesel?
Diesel House Fitness.
Diesel House
Yeah.
Business.
I haven't used that in a long time, but yeah, I still have it.
Yeah.
It's on my website.
Yeah. So anyone that is interested out there, any workout plans, meal plans, definitely hit up Andrea.
Yes.
I will link her Instagram page, and yeah, you'll
Sweet.
definitely see her results and see her pictures speak for herself. So,
Yeah.
um, so a little bit about Diesel House. Is that something you created on your own, or is that part
Yeah.
of like something?
It's actually something I created on my own. It was just like a last minute thought. I was getting a lot of questions and requests at the time for meal plans and workout plans. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just create a website? And I think I just signed up on some random like web page and was like, okay, I need to come up with a name. And then I just thought of the name and it was all just like, yeah, it was all just really quick and it came out pretty good. I mean, I got some help. There was a girl that I also knew from high school, Elise. She was younger than me, but I can't remember exactly what she majored in college, but she does like web design. And so she went in and actually, I had done it myself, and then she went in and kind of perfected it and offered
Oh, nice.
to do some stuff on it. So she did, and it came out really good. So I really liked it. And yeah, I mean, that's just what I use. I always refer people to the website for prices and stuff because they'll ask me still. And I'm just like, oh, just look at
Yeah, just check on
the
website.
website, and then email me what you want.
I feel it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've browsed through it and it looks really nice. So
Thank you.
I was looking at it. I'm like, man, I need to step up my
Yeah.
website game. But
I need to update it.
Yeah.
It's pretty outdated now, but
same,
I need to
man.
update it. I was like, well, I'll do that later, but I always put it off and I still haven't done it.
Yeah, nah, I feel it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? With our busy schedules.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how long have you been in the fitness game?
Since our senior year of high school, I started going after volleyball. I want to say volleyball was like a fall season sport. I think is what it was. I think it was in the fall, like at the beginning of the
I
year.
believe so. Yeah, if I
And
remember
then,
right.
yeah, I don't think it was winter. I think it was fall. My memory's so bad that I can't even remember. I did volleyball since the seventh grade
Yeah.
throughout, high school. So, when I finished my last season, my senior year, I remember I started to like gain some weight and I was like, oh, this is really weird. I never was a person that really gained weight or fluctuated in weight. I've always stayed petite. I mean, I'm like 5'1", so I never really
Yeah.
got any heavier or any lighter. And so my mom started working out with the gym that we go to now. That trainer, the owner, just did training at his physical therapy clinic that he worked at. And my mom was going to the boot camp classes there. And so she started to see a lot of results and was like, you should come work out with me. And I think that was maybe her way of hinting that like gaining a little bit of weight, come work out.
Yeah.
so,
Leave,
so I
leave it
did.
to our moms to let us
Mhm.
know, right?
So I did, and I liked it. I wasn't very consistent with it though, but I did it. And then from there, he opened up like a small studio, and I was going there every day after that and just started really working out, especially after we graduated. But I want to say like midway through our senior year is when I started working out with him and going to his classes. And then, yeah, it wasn't until college I started like really lifting weights.
Yeah.
And so I did that. But
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I commend you on your discipline and your dedication
Thank you.
I've seen your photos. You've done your bodybuilding
Yeah, I did bodybuilding
and
too.
all that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it takes a lot. I know it takes a lot of determination and
Yeah,
commitment
a lot of
in all
dedication.
spectrums
Mhm.
on your time, eating.
It's
Putting
such a
yourself
pain.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I believe it.
Yeah.
I I always think back of wrestling. You know, wrestling was one of those toughest things I've done in my life, but
Yeah.
it definitely is worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, I wouldn't know about wrestling, but
But yeah, no, I mean,
bodybuilding was a lot of, it was very rewarding. It was just a lot of self-discipline. And I mean, I took a few years off. I'm still trying to do it this year. There's just like craziness going on. So I was like, well, I'm trying to get into a new team. I haven't really talked to my coach in a very long time. We were actually prepping for a show, and then I just kind of lost contact with him. So
yeah.
I think I'm going to do a show, but later on, not the original show that I was planning on, which was in May. It's probably something in June, with a new team, and come back. It's been 3 years since I've competed, so it feels like forever since I've competed, but I'm trying to come back, and I'm trying to do better than I have before. So
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Thank you.
I know you will.
Thank
So
you.
I'll be rooting for you when you do step back on stage.
Thank you. I know it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it, but it's also something that I'm reminded of just being really difficult too. So
Yeah, it definitely is a great way to challenge yourself.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it is for sure.
Especially like I've learned a little more about bodybuilding because of Daniel. You know, he's especially he's doing his first show and it's coming up in May. So
Yeah,
like,
that was the show I was gonna do. Was what
the-
he's doing?
yeah.
The Cascadian.
Cascadian something. Yeah.
Cascadian Classic. Yeah. I've done it before. I've done it in previous years, and it's a good show.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him about it actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when he first announced that he was going to be doing it too, and I let him know like, oh, I think I'm going to do it too. But now I'm just like, oh, I don't think it's going to be in May. I think I want to pick a show that's a little further out and then try a new team and see if I can go with a new team. I actually just messaged them today, seeing if they had any openings, but I haven't heard back yet. So we'll see how it goes. But
That's awesome.
Daniel's killing it. He's doing really good.
Yeah, he's I commend him a lot. So I know he's listening. So shout out to you, my guy. So I could imagine like and going from going back to high school to getting out, graduating into where you're at now. I must imagine your confidence probably has skyrocketed since then.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I had a really weird amount of confidence even in high school. Like thinking about it, I looked back and I was like, wow, I had a lot of confidence. I felt like I didn't have it the easiest in terms of with other people getting along, especially like with other girls in high school. There was always problems, which it's obviously all now subsided and we're all cool. But back then I felt like I was always going through something, like always going through drama with like girls, with friends. And oddly enough, like I said, I had a weird amount of self-confidence that I was always like, it's no big deal. I always just brushed it off like nothing.
Yeah.
And so I think that helped a lot too, having that self-confidence from a young age helped obviously maintain self-confidence through being an adult.
Yeah.
So
I guess where would you say like self-confidence came from? Was it something that was instilled in you, or do you think you were just born with it?
I think I attribute it to my parents. Like my parents did a really good job of like building me with a lot of self-esteem from a really young age, always telling me like that I was pretty, or that my mom always told me like, oh, you're so beautiful, my dad. And they always taught me that I don't need to get that self-worth from anyone else or from anything else. Like they always gave it to me. They always told me, that I could do anything, I could become anything, that I was smart, that I was capable. So I think that helped a lot. I think of like people now that are having kids and how important it is to always affirm your kids, with these words of affirmation and letting them know, that they're strong, they're capable, they're smart, they're beautiful, and telling them a lot, not just every so often or when you remember, but trying to really, put it into kids' heads, because kids are so malleable.
Yeah, they are.
And they really just become, what it is that you tell them that they can become. So it's good to have that foundation. And I think I've also seen a lot of people gain a lot of self-confidence even without that foundation. And I think it's like really commendable that they can do that. But yeah, I always attribute it to my parents.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful because having parents that are able to, stand by your side and support you and pick you up, like it's really a game changer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I would attribute that to my parents as well, especially my mom. My mom, she's very lovey and very good at communicating, expressing herself, and she always would, remind us that we are capable of doing anything we wanted.
Yeah.
And my perseverance, I would say, definitely comes a lot from my mom, and my parents, my dad as well, because they've gone through a lot. Like they've gone through so much, and like to see where they're at now, like they're amazing people.
Yeah,
You know.
that's good. And that's always important too, to see that and have like that, um, I guess that visual growing up of seeing, your parents and them coming out of adversities and making it, I guess, is always a good thing for you too to see, because then you're like, oh, it's attainable. I can do that too.
Especially now, like as like I feel like now that we're older, like I definitely have a different perspective on my parents than I did before, and I appreciate them so much more now, love them so much more now, I respect them so much more now.
Exactly.
And
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and it's just it's cool to see them even now continue to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, especially in the stages that they're getting into in their life, because going from who they were as what we seen them as children to what we see them now, and seeing them to be able to continue, adding on to what they were before. It's just like a representation of what our life will be in the future.
Exactly. I agree. And it's funny, growing up, I thought everyone's parents were like that. I thought everyone's parents were like my parents. It wasn't until I got older, probably out of high school already, that I started realizing, like, wow, not everyone's parents are like there for them.
Yeah.
Not everyone's parents do the things that my parents did for me. And so I was really grateful. And I had a lot of friends too growing up that would tell me that they really loved being around my parents. I always had friends coming over. Like, I never really spent the night at other people's houses. They always came over to mine and would hang out. My parents would invite friends to come with us. If we were going to go to Seattle and shop for the day, or Tri-Cities, they'd be like, just come with us. So they were so used to seeing my parents like that. And I had a really good friend, my really good friend Shadow. She told me that as well, that she liked that my dad, she always remembers in high school, we would spend the night and like we would go get minors and then stay up super late. And then in the morning, my dad would always come over with coffee for me and Shadow, and then also for my mom.
Oh, nice.
And like, that's just something that he always did. He'd always bring coffee to my mom, especially, and like me growing up. And so she was like, it's nice seeing that your dad does that. I never realized, that there's men that do that. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, it's just coffee, but I guess the thought of it later on, like, there really aren't a lot of people that get their significant other or their kid coffee every morning, or like a drink every morning. And that's just how my dad is.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's cool. And, like you're saying, not a lot of, other, kids or people out there do have, that same experience. Like, thankfully, as well as, I'm fortunate to have like parents, both of the parents, what I mean? Like one wasn't taken, the other one wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You weren't like raised in a single family or single parent family.
Yeah. And I don't think I really truly understood that until I was at college as well. You know, I'd have friends tell me like, you're lucky, like you don't understand how lucky you are to have your parents. I'm like, well, I mean, I am, I very am, but there's not everything's perfect, you know what I mean? But to see where I'm at now, I'm like, he's absolutely right. Like, I am still lucky to have them still work things out, figure things out and grow. You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
That's part of the whole cycle of life. And, so yeah, it's beautiful to see
it is.
Parents be able to, hold onto each other and be those role models for their kids. 'Cause it's, especially in this day and age, I feel like divorce, I mean, I shouldn't even say, I feel like, divorce it's high up there.
Yeah, it's really prevalent right now.
It is. And, and I mean, and not that there's, not to shame anyone or make anyone feel less.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But
no, yeah, like
it's just rare to see people stay together nowadays, especially because I feel like divorce is so high and like separation is so high, or people just don't want to get married for the sake of, they don't want to get divorced later on. It's really interesting to see that, and it's weird to see that my parents are still together, and that's like I don't know, just an odd thing, I guess, for families now, is that their parents stay together for so long.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost uncommon to see them.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I agree. Like if someone isn't right for each other, like I think it's probably best.
Oh yeah, I always say it's best to just let it go. Like, and I think a lot of people hold on to like the wrong things within relationships. I think they stay because they're comfortable and they don't want to like see that person with someone else, or vice versa, like that person see them with someone else. But I think it's good if it's not going well, if it's not making you happy, if I guess it's more of a stress than it is like making you happy, then I think it's good to let it go. I think a lot of people have issues with that too.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, tying that into confidence, I do believe like people, their confidence fluctuates when they're not in a stable or a healthy environment,
Exactly. Yeah,
you
that's
know.
exactly it. For
And
sure.
that's hard, getting back on the playing field and trying to be single again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I do with myself. You
Yeah.
know what I
You're
mean?
like, what do I do? How do
Yeah.
I talk to people?
Huh? What do you mean I got to go
Exactly.
out and talk and make friends? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Socialize,
What
like,
do you mean I have to build a relationship?
yeah, right.
Exactly. And it's tough. I mean, I was single not that long. Well, I shouldn't say not that long ago. It's going to be 3 years with my boyfriend here soon, but back then, I mean, I had been with someone for so long that it was weird being single. I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be in a
Yeah.
dating atmosphere. I wasn't used to it. So it is really weird and it is uncomfortable, but I felt like it was also really good and it was really good for my self esteem. I hadn't really been in the best relationship prior to this relationship that I'm in now. With my ex, it wasn't very healthy on either end.
Yeah.
And it's something that I noticed that my self confidence, for being such a confident person, I felt like I was allowing too many things to happen that were not normal for me. I wouldn't like allow certain things to happen in relationships. And at that point, I was. And
Yeah.
so it was funny. My mom was even telling me, like, yeah, your self confidence seemed pretty low then. And it was just such a weird thing to hear because I've never heard that. I've never heard, yeah, your self confidence seemed low.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not me. And I felt like it was the situation I was in too. So,
Yeah, I would agree. Like, the circumstances that we end up in or put ourselves in, or just so happen to be in, it
yeah.
definitely it's a test. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I would say life is absolutely the ultimate test.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like I learned a lot after that and during that and because of that.
Yeah,
Felt like it helped me. I mean, it just reassured my self confidence and I felt like I found out what it is that I wanted, I guess, after that. So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It's like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. And that's how I felt. I felt like that. I mean, exactly like that. It didn't break me. If anything, it made me even stronger. So I was really thankful for it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that had a big impact on my self confidence at the time. And I think it's something that impacts a lot of people. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in relationships that are not confident in themselves. And it kind of shows, like they'll act on it or they'll,
Yeah.
the way that they set their limitations with their significant other kind of indicates how confident they are in themselves.
Absolutely. I would agree. Yeah, like it speaks volumes. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like 90% of communication, or was it? I think 80% is body language and
Yeah.
actions. And
Yeah.
I would agree. A person can say they feel this way, but ultimately,
You can usually tell what they really feel.
yeah,
If they're being honest or not.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it does it does show, like, especially in relationships that are toxic, or you could tell that are just kind of on edge. That there's a lot that goes into trying to figure out what it is to get past it.
Yeah.
And on the outside looking in, I it's hard to, like, try to coach someone, when ultimately it comes from within.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
self confidence comes from within. Like, you have to believe it.
Exactly.
And it is tough because, yeah, like you're saying, like, insecurities,
Hmm.
when people are very possessive and
Yeah.
controlling.
Yeah. Or jealous, like really jealous. I
Yeah.
feel like it's normal to be a little jealous sometimes, but I don't think it's like a healthy thing to always act on your jealousy. Like, it's normal to feel like a little jealous of something, and it can be insignificant. In your head, like, I'm gonna be irrational if I say,
Yeah.
don't do this, because it's just an irrational thought. But to act on it and to actually say, like, don't talk to this person or don't do this, I feel like it really shows how insecure someone is. And not that it's like a terrible thing, but I don't think it's a healthy thing to be
Absolutely.
in a relationship, especially.
Yes, I would agree, especially because, I mean, when you're in a relationship, like, you're a team.
Yeah.
Like, when you
100%.
get to that point where you guys are dependent on each other, living with each other,
Hmm.
like, that's your ride or die. Like, like, if it wasn't for Lupita, like, hyping me up on the days that she does, like, I definitely don't think my confidence would be as high as it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or that sense of security.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and it helps. Like, it makes me move a little differently than I probably would if I was not hearing those kind words.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know?
that does help a lot.
Yeah.
I think it helps a lot, especially since you love her
Yeah.
and you have this connection with her. I feel like you value what people say, that, if you love them, you value what they think of you. And so I feel like that's a really good thing to have someone hyping you up and to have someone telling you those things. And I feel like also it's just people's communication styles. Like some people do well with that and some people don't. Like, I mean, some people it just doesn't even affect them one way or another, whether they get told things. But I feel like when you're a person that likes to hear those words of affirmation, it really helps a lot. I feel like for me with my boyfriend, what helps me is the fact that he lets me do my thing. Like he doesn't ever tell me like, no, I don't like you doing this. No, I don't want you doing that. I don't want you talking to this person. I don't want you posting this. I don't want you wearing this. He's always like, no, you look good. What's wrong?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's and I
yeah.
like that he lets me just be myself, and like I don't feel like I'm being held back or anything by him, which helps me a lot because I felt like before in previous relationships, I have felt like people were holding me back or people were constantly in my ear telling me, oh, I don't like what you're wearing. I don't like what you post. I don't like that you said this. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So you don't like me is what you're telling me. You don't like me because this is all me. This is just what I want to do. So I feel like that helps me a lot, was him just letting me do my thing.
And that's awesome. Yeah, I would agree. That's a healthy trait because ultimately, I mean, even though we are in relationships, like we are individuals. You know,
exactly.
And having that identity is something I've learned is very important, especially in like developing, a successful career or just being the best version of you. I mean, not to knock anyone down. I'm sure there's people out there that feel the best version of themselves is with their partner, but not getting lost in that person, I think is important as well.
Exactly.
Because I'm, at some point, one way, till death do us part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna end. And hopefully, the thing is we get to leave with the memories and not feel so, overwhelmingly hurt by the loss. You know what I mean? And we're able to move forward and carry ourselves and continue to be us,
Yeah, exactly. And you always want your partner to be okay, whether you're there or not. Like you want them to be good, and to think of the fact that someone's so dependent on you that if you die, they're not going to be okay isn't like the best thing to feel.
Yeah.
So it's good to have or to be with someone that is going to be okay whether you're gone or not. They're still themselves. They still have their job or their income, or they have means of getting by even without you.
Absolutely.
And I think that just kind of adds to your relationship more because then they don't need you. They actually choose to be with you instead of having to like depend on you.
Yeah, it's not like a give and take. It's more so like, I'm here because I want to be here.
Exactly.
It's funny. My mom always used to like tell me and my brother, like, what are you guys going to do if we die? And that's something that always stuck out to me.
My mom tells me the same thing.
Yeah, and it's funny because my mom has this Rolodex, and she's like, if anything ever happens to us, go to the Rolodex. You know where it's at. And it's just funny because when me and Lupita got closer and living together and, having our place together, like, I've taken that and I'm like, baby, what happens if something happens to me? Like, I need you to pick up where we left off. Like, especially if we have kids. Like, if we have kids, I'm not second guessing it at all now, but it's like, I want to make sure that whoever I'm with is going to be able to take care of my children if I'm not there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And vice versa. Like, I want her to feel that confidence that like if something were to happen to me, like, my kids are going to be good.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she's shown out, you know what I mean? Like I'm confident that if God forbid something were to happen like that, they're going to be okay. They're going to be taken care of.
I feel the same way about my boyfriend, that if anything were to happen, if we were to have kids, I'd be completely fine with him and with our kids. Thankfully, he has the qualities that I wanted in a person. Awesome. That I wanted to date, so I was really happy about that when I got to know him and, just figuring him out as a person. He's a really cool guy. Yeah. Someone that's very special to me.
Yeah. Well, you guys look great. Like every time I see you guys' pictures, I'm like, yeah, that's an awesome couple.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you guys definitely, you guys look happy. You guys look like you guys glow off each other.
Yeah. We definitely balance each other out for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny because I've come to figure out I'm pretty introverted. Oddly enough, I don't feel like I portray that I am, but I'm pretty introverted. I'm an extroverted introvert is what I would consider myself. And he's pretty introverted, more so than I am. And so it's just funny to like see us interact, because everyone, when they initially meet him, they're like, he's really quiet. And I'm like, oh, give him a little bit. He'll open up and he's hilarious. Like, just give him a little bit of time. But I kind of like that he's shy, and like he's opposite of me, because I'm not shy at all. I don't have like an issue talking to people or, communicating. Or I've given like a bunch of speeches and stuff for classes, and even right now in class I've had to do presentations, and he's like deathly afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
And like doing the presentations, oh my gosh, he just freaks out. So it's really nice that he is my opposite, and that, I don't know, we kind of balance each other out in that way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame him. It's nerve-wracking, and I do think it takes I guess not a special
a certain personality.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta like the limelight a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I do like public speaking, but I've bombed a lot of presentations myself. You know what I mean? But like, I can see why people don't like it. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That pressure of feeling like all eyes are on me. My words are stumbling. Yeah, like I definitely understand. It's not everyone's forte.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you kill it, it feels good.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah, especially when you're like already prepared, and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to say. And I guess that's maybe why I don't mind it, is because I do prepare quite a bit beforehand. Before I'm going to do like a presentation or a speech, if it's like a timed thing, I'll sit there and I will time myself. I will write my notes out and say, okay, this is what I'm going to say. So I already have it down as to what I'm going to do. If I'm like winging it, then I'm sure anyone would be nervous to wing a big presentation like that. But I guess, I don't know. I'm prepared.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, going back to confidence, being prepared definitely gives you confidence.
Oh, for sure.
I remember when I sold cars when like between summers of going to school, and dude, that was the hardest thing I've probably done in job wise, was putting myself out there, and like the lack of confidence I had when I first started definitely showed, and I was sweaty, I was nervous, I didn't know what
hands were sweating.
Yeah, and but by the time I think it was my 3 months, like I definitely was able to answer questions a lot more faster, a lot more confident.
Yeah.
And that repetition is what helped me kind of get me where I needed to go. And just the experience, to be honest, because like you had to talk to like a number of amount of people and get rejected and get all different walks of life, and different questions and different attitudes, like I remember one guy came in and was like, he was talking about, he wanted to buy a diesel truck, and he was like, what do you know about diesel trucks? And he just was quizzing me,
asking you. I hate when they do
that.
Like they ask you knowing they already know the answers, and they're just like, what do you know about it? And you're like, fuck.
Yeah. And
why can't you just be a genuinely curious person?
And just ask me a real question.
Yeah.
And so he was, that's exactly what he was doing. And but like I definitely was confident, and I feel like those skills that I gained stuck out with me, afterwards, and it's a little easier to have conversations with people and not feel so like a deer in headlights when I don't know the answer.
Exactly.
Especially like especially what I do now, like it's you're not gonna have the answer to everything. You know?
Exactly. And I guess that's like a big part of also like being confident, is accepting that you're not going to have everything. You're not going to have the answer to everything, and that's okay, I guess, to feel that way and feel like, oh, well, let me figure it out. Let me go find out what the answer is. But knowing you're not going to have the answer to everything, you're just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't have the answer to everything, but it's okay.
Yeah, and being able to communicate that and like, say that to whoever you need to say that to is I think a confident booster if you're able to communicate that. 'Cause you get over that fear of saying, like, I don't know the answer. You can say, I don't know the answer, but I can, look for
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and, that is like a good segue to what the next part is figuring it out. You know what I mean? So instead of being hung up on like, oh, I should have said this, should have done that, or can you believe how embarrassed I was? You know what I mean? Like, the mind is a tricky thing, and it definitely can, we can self-sabotage our
powerful
confidence.
Thing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe it.
So you started modeling about a couple years ago?
Yeah, about a couple years ago, I started doing like photo shoots and stuff. And at first, I mean, I've always been used to like taking pictures. So funny. I'll never forget. It was senior year prom, and the group that we went with came over to my house beforehand for pictures, right? Because that's what you do before you go to prom. We take pictures. And
Yeah,
so
right.
we took pictures, and my mom's over here like taking a bunch of pictures. And one of the guys, I'll leave him unnamed. I haven't talked to him in forever, but one of the guys that was there, that was my friend, he was just like, man, you know what? Now I understand why you're always smiling. He's like, your mom is always taking pictures. And I was like, yeah, she is always taking pictures. She's like continuously taking pictures. So I was used to like taking photos and doing all that and working with like smaller photographers here and there. But when I finally started working with like some of the larger photographers, I was pretty nervous. You know, I was pretty, I don't know. I didn't know really what to do. I was a little unseasoned, but thankfully he helped me out a lot. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Justin, Jay Swain on Instagram. If you guys want to check him out, he has an amazing page, but
Yeah, I've seen his photos, and
he does a great job. But
gets down.
I worked with him, and it's funny. I was showing my boyfriend like the progression of pictures that I've taken with him. Obviously, he liked the first ones. I liked the first ones. He came out really good. But looking at like the more recent ones now, my boyfriend was like, I'm not saying that your old pictures look bad, but you look a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxed now. And I was like, yeah, I noticed the same thing. I feel a lot more confident, feel a lot more relaxed now that I know him and I'm in front of a camera. I know what to do for the most part, you know, with my face. At first, I feel like you don't know what to do with like your hands. Like you don't know what your face should be doing. You're just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where do I put this hand? What do I do with it? And then yeah, you start getting more comfortable. And I think it also helps having like a personality that's understanding around. Like he was just like, oh, I get it. Don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
you're good. And he's trying to make me feel comfortable while we're shooting. And so I think that helps a lot too, having someone that's trying to actively help you be comfortable and is understanding. And I guess that's also telling with like how you should be with other people, you know, that are doing something new or doing something for the first time that you've already done. And you're like, you know what, maybe I'll try to make them feel a little bit more comfortable or understand that, you know, this is their first time doing this. And I think that helps out a lot, and it teaches you a lot as well.
Yeah, it really does. I would agree, especially, you know, doing something your first time, you're never the best at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the growing pains of everything. But that's awesome that, and you know, I mean, like, I would agree with your boyfriend. Like I would definitely I've seen the progress in your photos, and I mean, they all look good. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what he's telling me too. He's like, they look good, but
Yeah.
I was like, thanks. But
Yeah,
I felt the same way. I was like, no, I mean, I'm not taking it as critique. Like, I feel the exact same way. I felt like I felt a lot more relaxed. I looked obviously a lot more relaxed in my most recent pictures, so I don't mind it. I'm just like, well, it's just a learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you. I mean, if you listen to my very first episode of Joel's Mind, you'll be like, yeah, this is a completely different person.
That's how I feel like with my first YouTube video. I'm like, I look a little stiff.
Yeah.
I feel a little stiff. Yeah.
I feel you. It's you know, and going back to the repetition, like once you do it a couple more times and kind of get used to it, and you know, especially having the coaching, like I follow this guy on TikTok, and I wish I knew his name because I give him a good shout out, but he like just does poses. You know, he just like like girls poses, guy poses.
I've seen some videos like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How to pose for Instagram photos or like photo shoots.
Yeah, and like I'm like, dude, like I'm over here like just up at night going through them, you know, like I'm taking some notes
on TikTok.
Yeah, you know, so it helps, like, you know, make you feel comfortable and relaxed, and especially when you're taking a photo where you gotta feel sexy, you know what I mean? Like, can't take a sexy photo if you're not feeling sexy. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like,
it's definitely gonna show, that's for sure. That you don't feel sexy.
And like, and especially with confidence, like if you're not feeling confident, it's gonna show. You know, and
for sure,
I've definitely have my fair share of experiences of like not feeling confident in interactions with people that, you know, and part of my jobs, or just, you know, in college I was part of the psychology club, and you know, I winged out a lot of things, but you know, there's times where, like, you know, like when I didn't know the answers to things, that's when you could really tell your
confidence wasn't showing.
Yeah, you know, and I commend, there's this one guy when I was working at the dealership, like he was a complete, like, just bullshitter, but not a bullshitter in a bad way, but like
just did a good job of like making it sound like he was being, like, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, and like I would say his confidence is just superior. Like, you know, and he could carry on a conversation about the topic that he had no idea about, and be able to like just dance around the conversation, pull out what he needs to pull out,
Yeah.
and just make it relatable one way or another. And
Yeah.
it's just crazy, and it's cool to see people be able to do that. Like
Mhm.
it's very interesting because you can't really tell what they do and what they don't know. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. They do a
And
good job of letting you know that.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I no, it was cool with him. It was cool because like once I kind of got that vibe from him and like understanding, our conversations got a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And especially
Exactly.
with like things that like our knowledge and whatnot. And
Mhm.
so
That's good.
that's very cool, very
Yeah.
interesting. But so if you had any questions, if you had any suggestions for anyone that was looking to grow their confidence, what would you tell them?
I would say it starts obviously with yourself and feeling confident in yourself. And I know a lot of people have a hard time. Like, people are so quick to point out what's wrong with them or what they think needs improvement. I
Yeah,
think it's good to really point out what you like about yourself, whether it be personality wise or something physical. I think that it's really important to know what you think are your good points within yourself, I guess. But
yeah,
I think that that's something that's really important that not a lot of people do. They don't acknowledge what they like about themselves. Everyone is so quick to just say, "Oh, I hate this about me," or "Oh, I'm so short," or "Oh, I need to lose weight here." Whatever the case is, they are
yeah,
so quick to point those things out, but they're not quick to talk about what they like about themselves. And I think that that's really important, but it's also really important to maintain that confidence no matter what the situation is. A lot of people are confident like at home and
yeah,
by themselves, and then they get in front of other people and then that confidence just like drops completely. But I think that's important, is to always maintain it. And then I think this is probably the only situation where I say that this works, is faking it until you make it. Like, I
yeah,
think that that's so important. Even if you don't feel confident, I think it's so important to try to still act confident, even when you're not feeling good. You're not up for it. You're like, man, I am in a situation that I'm just so uncomfortable. But even if you try to just kind of act confident, I think you
hmm,
start kind of feeling more confident as well. So
yeah,
I think that's important too. And that's probably the only time I'll say that that's a good line, is fake it till you make it with your confidence. But I think it's really important. It's really important to practice being confident even when you don't feel it, because then it becomes a habit, and then you don't realize that you actually are confident now,
yeah,
and you're maintaining it, and that's just a part of your personality now. So, but doing that and just being in situations that make you uncomfortable, still trying to be yourself,
hmm,
stay true to who you are, and like staying true to what it is that you want, I think makes you more confident as a person. But also, it kind of makes any uncomfortable situation even better, because you're still staying who you are, and you're not putting yourself in a position that you're acting out of character, I guess.
yeah,
But I guess that's probably my best advice to people, is like really, especially the first one, really
yeah,
focusing on like what your good qualities are.
definitely.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's a good advice because it's it's easy for us to forget when we're feeling under pressure or feeling not confident. We
Yeah.
are quick to attack ourselves and be like you're saying, point out the flaws rather than saying what we're good at.
Yeah.
Um, that is good advice. I'm gonna remember that because there's times where I'm like, damn it, Joel. you
Yeah.
know,
And I think everybody has their time, like their moments where they just don't feel their best. I mean, like, I've had my moments where I don't feel my best. And it's funny because I will definitely voice them, but I'll voice them to like my boyfriend. And I'm just like, oh, I feel so not sexy right now.
yeah,
Or I feel so just like I like ate really bad or whatever the case is, and I just don't feel good about myself in that moment. And he's just like, you're fine, like you're okay. Just let it pass. And I'm like, okay, okay, you're right. Just let it pass. Just keep going. And so I think it also helps to have somebody there like Lupita is with you. Like,
yeah,
being a positive force in your life, I think is really important, because when you're surrounding yourself with people that are obviously just bringing you down, it's really hard to be confident
yeah,
when someone's constantly like bashing you or being negative. And I think in those situations, that's where you should realize that relationship isn't serving you anymore, and maybe you
yeah.
should get out of it if you want to feel a little more confident.
Absolutely. I think I'm pretty sure I seen on TikTok or some reel the other day, but they were saying like if you are surrounded by people that are not inspiring you or not making you feel confident or successful or feeling like,
Motivating you.
yeah, like that's, you're not in a circle, you're in a cage.
Yeah.
And I would say that that's a good example of being around people that are not bringing you or serving you.
Yeah.
You know.
That's very true. It's a really good saying there that you found on TikTok or on Instagram, because the stuff that I find is all like food stuff. So
Yeah.
But no, that's really good. I like that. That's really true. And I really think that the people that you surround yourself with have a big impact on you and your confidence, because you can be the most confident person and it just takes like one really bad person to bring you down.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've seen it. I feel like I've been through that. And so I think it does make a big difference with your confidence level.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially like how you're saying with, you have your boyfriend, I have my girlfriend, and we were able to run into people that help us get us out of those ruts. You know what I mean? Like having, groups of people or just, certain individuals that, you could count on.
Yeah,
that will help you.
For sure. I think it's especially important too, like with my family. My parents are obviously that way with me. They're really good at building my self-confidence and my self-esteem. But also my cousin is really good at that. She's helped me out so much, especially in times that have been really difficult for me. I felt like she was there for me and I was there for her too as well with difficult times. But that was really helpful, just having her obviously in the back of my head, constantly telling me like, you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to do this. When it's situations that were bad or weren't serving me, she always kind of brought me back to reality and was like, you're going to be fine. You're okay. Remember who you are.
That's awesome.
That kind of a person. So it was really helpful to have people like that in your life as well.
Yeah, definitely. There is good people out there. You know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta do a little searching to find them.
Exactly. And even if you only have like a couple people that you're close to, because I'm one of those people that I'll have a few friends. I feel like I just have like a couple friends and my cousin, and that's like really all who I hang out with or who I talk to. And I feel like that's probably the best for me, because I know that my relationships with them are genuine and we help each other out when we need help. But I don't have like a lot of really fake relationships with people or relationships that are only like surface level.
Yeah.
So I think that that's an important thing as well.
That's awesome. Do you practice words of affirmation?
I don't. I feel like I should. I feel like that would probably be something that I would look into, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's honestly, I mean, it's something that I continuously do here and there, like not as consistent as I would like to.
Yeah.
But, the times when I first started doing it, I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Looking at myself in the mirror.
I was going to say, it's probably awkward, like, just looking at yourself in the mirror and talking to yourself.
Yeah. Especially saying, like, I am confident. It's like, come on. Like, am I really saying this to myself right now?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I just was thinking back to when you had said about your parents, affirming you as a child. Like, I can imagine how much that will help you. I mean, if you
as an adult,
so but I mean the times that I do it, and I do it more often than I did before, and I definitely feel more grounded. I feel more secure in who I am.
That's good. Yeah.
And it helps too, because the times that I know I'm not where I want to be in life, like it's just like an extra push to like I am capable of being that person, or it
pushes you a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's good. And I think that would be something that would be really good for people that maybe didn't have parents that were very affirming growing up. A lot of people that don't have that support system at home. I think that something like words of affirmation would be really good, or even having like a significant other or a really good friend that's their love language, or that's how they like to communicate. They're very affirming. I guess they're just very talkative and very good at communicating that. I feel like I'm like that. I don't know how my boyfriend takes it, but I'm constantly like, oh, I love you so much, oh, you're so handsome, like all the time, and he just like jokes around with me. He's like, I know
that's
like,
good. That's
probably because
awesome.
I say it 100 times a day, but I think he gets the same thing from his mom too. His mom is the same way with him, so it's like nice that he is, I guess, good, receptive toward what I tell him. So I think that helps a lot too, especially with people that didn't have that growing up. I think would be good.
it is a little different. I mean, like, I like throwing a curveball at Lupita, and I always ask her why.
Yeah, that's what my boyfriend does the same thing. He's like, well, why? Why do you love me? And I'm just like, why is water wet?
That's
Oh,
funny.
but I'll elaborate more to him. But
Yeah, and she usually does too. Or
Yeah.
sometimes she knows I'm being annoying, so she be's annoying right back. So like,
Yeah.
she'll just look me in the eye and be like, "Cause I love you," you know.
That's the benefit of having a significant other. You just know when you both can annoy each other at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun, but I do appreciate all the times that she does like say things. Cause there's time that I mean, at a certain point in my life with her, I wasn't super confident in just like where I was at, with
Yeah.
school, stresses of life, and but she would still constantly say the things that she would say to me, and like I now that I look back on it, like I feel it more now than I did back then because I feel like I
Yeah.
believe it more now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what, that's what's up. Like, she's never switched up on me. She's always,
Exactly.
kept it the same, and so
Yeah. And that's important. I feel like that in it of itself is a confidence builder. Like you have more confidence in that person because you've been through these things with them and they've maintained, who they are
yeah,
throughout those things,
yeah, and
which
so
is a good thing.
and I feel it even more now. I'm like, damn, like you really love me at my worst.
Yeah.
I'm like, and
Yeah.
and so it's awesome. So if there's
Yeah.
anyone out there that's thinking about being sweet to their significant other, definitely do
It
it.
helps. It helps
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, coming from the person that like I am receptive of it, but like I don't show it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I'm,
My boyfriend's the same way.
yeah, so
He's the same way. And it's funny, and not to speak for him, but he's told me similar things of like in situations where I feel like we've gone through a pretty good amount of things, but in those situations, he told me the same thing. He's like, man, you're really here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm really here. He's like, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you didn't change. You didn't just leave when things get hard. And I'm like, no, that's not really my character. There's certain things that I feel like are worth fighting for. And if there's nothing really I've been through situations that are really terrible and that you don't need to stay in. But I know now, like, what is something that you can fight through and what's something that you should just let go of, you know? And
That's
so I feel like
awesome.
certain situations, I'm like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But
Knowing when to pick your battles is
exactly.
something
Yeah.
my mom always preaches.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's true. It's true. You don't need to harp on everything that bothers you because, people are so different and everyone's an individual. So everyone's communication styles, their habits, everything is so different that when being in a relationship with someone, you really do have to adjust to them too and like not just do things that are good for you, but also for them too.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I definitely think if you are nitpicky and constantly pointing out the wrong in people, they definitely can take it personally and interpersonalize that and be like, I'm constantly
being attacked almost.
Yeah, and I can see where their confidence can start to dwindle because they're constantly thinking about what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And they're only hearing negative feedback. Like, especially like for someone like me, I feel like I'm sensitive because I try really hard in relationships. Like, I feel like don't half-ass anything. So I especially don't half-ass relationships.
Yeah.
So I'm like constantly trying to be a better person in general. So I'm also constantly trying to be a better significant other. That
Awesome.
I've been in situations where I've just heard negative feedback and I'm like, I'm really trying. Like, it's really, really brings you down when you're genuinely trying to just make someone happy and you're just hearing negative feedback. And then you're just like, man, what else can I do? Again, you don't like me then.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense.
And, knowing when, sometimes like you're saying earlier, you just gotta let it go. Like, and being able to stand up for yourself sometimes is what will bring that confidence back.
Oh yeah, for sure. Standing up for yourself.
It is tough, especially in relationships, especially when you've been with someone for years. And it's like, how do you stand up to someone that you've been with for years? And, like it's normal.
And you're not used to standing up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
And, I do think it's important for people to stand up for themselves in relationships.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you don't, then it's easier for that one person to start taking more and
Yeah.
and then that's not a relationship.
No.
It's you know, it's almost like they're just a charger. You
Yeah.
know, like you're here to fill me up when I need you to fill me up.
Exactly. And then it's just only about them, and your wants and your needs get pushed back at that point.
Yeah.
But that's very true. And I feel like self-confidence is so impactful on all aspects of life. I mean, I feel like it literally is a part of anything at this point, any topic. But especially with relationships, I feel like that's where it's really impactful, is in relationships, and being able to stand up to someone or being able to speak up for yourself is such a it's something that is so overlooked, but really important too.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I agree. I think that it's really important. And I feel like there's a lot of relationships. I don't know, and I can't speak for all, like, everybody in relationships, but I've noticed a lot, especially like in the traditional, like, Mexican culture,
Yeah.
like, men are very machista, or can be very machista. And so
Yeah.
I feel like that does put, especially a lot of women, like, they kind of hides their voices, and they don't really get to speak what it is that they want to say. So I feel like that's a cycle that needs to be broken. And I feel like it's being broken, but there's still a lot of people that I see that are even my age that are in those kind of relationships. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Speak up. Tell him no.
Yeah, it's 2021, people. No.
Exactly.
But yeah, I agree. There's still a good handful of people out there, you know, that are breaking those generational norms.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
and it is tough because I know, like, you know, parents are usually the ones that have the opinions.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said earlier, like, you know, we care more about the ones that we love. You know, their opinions most, and that's hard when we're constantly thinking about, oh, are my parents going to approve of this?
Yeah.
Is this going to be something that, you know, they're okay with? Are they going to accept this? You know, and sometimes, you know, it's not about what they want. It's about what you want.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it should be about what you want.
Exactly. You know, and my experience is 9 times out of 10, you know, they're going to accept whatever it is, you know, especially when it comes to Mexican families. You know, we're taught and, you know, instilled that, you know, family is everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
For sure.
And if it's one thing I've learned, you know, just in family in general, like, you can have disagreements, but, you know, we're always going to be around.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Exactly. That's how I feel about my family too. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've only gotten closer to them, and I've only, like, been able, like, my cousin and I have a big age difference. She doesn't, oddly enough, she does not look 40, but she just turned 40 this last year.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
I'm,
good.
yeah,
I
and
hope
I'm 26.
I'm like that when
Yeah.
I'm 40.
She looks super young. It's really weird. She's very lucky, but, and I'm 26, but we got really close. I would say when I was about 21, and she's like a big sister to me. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I've only gotten closer to her, as well as other family members. Like, I've appreciated our relationships and have appreciated our conversations. And it's funny because it's something that was so overlooked when I was younger, but now something that I appreciate a lot and I value a lot. Like, that is like my one person that, like, oh, I could never not talk to her.
Oh, yeah.
Even if we've gotten in arguments or disagreements, and which we have, but she's like a sister to me. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna love her no matter what, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, those relationships are important.
As well as with my parents, I will love them no matter what. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
And yeah, you know, it's, you know, respectfully so, you know, I understand why our culture definitely speaks on, you know, family first, you know what I mean? But, you know, I would agree, you know, it's something you do have to stand up for yourself sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
or creating a boundary, you
Yeah.
know, and, you know, it doesn't have to always be ugly or aggressive or mean, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as long as you draw that line in the sand and you stick to it, whether they respect it or not, like, as long as you hold it for yourself, 9 times out of 10, people are going to respect that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's important to have those boundaries for yourself, regardless of who it's with, you know, whether it be with your family or in a relationship or your friends.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their limitations, and I think it's good to set boundaries for yourself,
Absolutely.
just so that you can, like, stay sane.
Yeah,
Not
right.
you go a little crazy just letting everyone do what they want.
Yeah, like having a voice matters. You know, it definitely, you know, makes a difference in in your mental processes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being able to feel seen and heard, and I think it's very important. I think some
For
people
sure.
they're never taught that. They're always taught like, oh, we're gonna do this because this person in the group of the family or whoever
Wants to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very unfortunate because there's a lot of people out there that are deserving to have a voice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that the others want to hear their voice. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's it's always a challenge when you doing something for the first time is hard, especially if you're not taught that. Like learning or unlearning some generational traumas or habits is a difficult journey, but it's always worth it. It's always worth tackling that obstacle.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And I feel like by having and developing more confidence within yourself, it's easier for you to voice your opinion, and it's easier for you to voice and like stand up to people that you need to talk to or that you need to stand up to and let them know how it is that you feel, because a lot of people I feel like just go by without saying how it is that they really feel.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that just kind of eats away at you when you don't
Yeah.
voice yourself or at least say it to the person that needs to hear it.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, how do you assess your own feelings if you are constantly going based on what other people feel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think it's good to be able to voice your opinion. And again, I feel like that's something that a lot of people just don't do. And it shows that people just don't really get to speak their mind and say what it is that they really feel.
Yeah.
But it's super important. And it's just relationships, and not just like your significant other, but all relationships, whether it be your family or your friends. I think it's really important to let people know how it is that you feel.
Yes.
And if anything, that does build more self-confidence, whether it goes good or bad. You should always feel empowered that you spoke your mind.
Yeah, I agree, because it does take a certain skill set to like be able to say how you feel without it coming off the way you don't want it to.
Yeah, exactly.
What I mean?
I think it's also good to do that. Like if you're going to speak your mind, say it like in person. So people see your body language and they see how you're saying things or your tone, and
they understand a lot more.
Yeah. Cause I am like very guilty of my text messages and like my emails sound apparently very stern. And I'm like, I don't mean for them to sound stern. I mean it. So a lot of times I'm being really sarcastic. If you were to see me say this in person, my voice would sound a lot different than what you probably are imagining it. But so I think it's good to do that and like talk to someone in person and let them see you. And again, your body language says a lot too. So that's really important.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm big on using emojis, and it's just because naturally, like, I want to express myself. I'm very expressive, and that's like the next best thing is using emojis. But I don't know. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I feel like I'm over using them,
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like I'm the opposite. People will talk to me and then they meet me in person. They're like, you just did not seem, this is not what I expected from you. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you're a lot more silly in person or a lot more down to earth. And I'm just like, I didn't realize I sounded like an asshole over text, but apparently I sound like an asshole over text.
You got the best of both worlds, I guess.
I've gotten that a lot. So I'm just like, wow, maybe I should change the way that I text, but I don't know how to do that. So I just continue.
It's funny. We have a friend that she would say the same. She's the way you describe yourself is exactly how she is. She's super bubbly, super outgoing, and just funny. She's a funny person.
Mm-hmm.
You start texting her, the most boringest person in the world.
That's me. That's me. So I completely can relate to that, because it's just, I'm that way too. I don't know. I feel like, I guess I just want to talk to people in person or over the phone, because I like hearing people's tone of voice. I like hearing like their fluctuation in their voice and how they say things. So it's just funny when I'm texting, because I'm just like, all right, let's get to the phone call now. Like, I just don't want to text anymore. Just call me.
Yeah, right.
Which is rare, because so many people that I know now are like, oh, I hate talking on the phone. And I'm just like, but you like texting? Like, I hate texting. I like talking over the phone. I would prefer it. It's faster.
You get straight to the point.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's useful. I've been using lately is the little voice recording thing.
That's what I don't do the voice recording. I do like the speech to dictation.
Yeah.
So I do that and it never understands me. So I'll be sending like some weird ass text messages. But to my boyfriend, I'm like, you get what I mean, right? You know what I'm trying to say.
You
And
can
he's
fill it
like,
in, right?
yeah, I get what you're saying. But to everyone else, I'm like rereading it. I'm like, oh shit, this didn't even make sense. And then I have to type in. I'm like, I'm sorry. I always use this. It never understands me. I don't know why I continue to use it, but here I am. So it's funny though that happens.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom uses the voice to text all the time, and
it never makes sense, huh?
No, and I'm like, she's busy because she's, you know what I mean.
Sometimes I'm just too lazy. Like I don't want to sit there and like text. I'm like, I just rather would say it and then it just sends. So I do that. But.
Yeah, I wish our technology in that terms was a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. I'm like, how are you still not understanding me? This is not what I said.
Yeah,
but
right.
I got to take it. I mean, I'm trying to be lazy, so I guess I have to make do with what I have. And I'm like, you get what I'm saying. At least you understand what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah, right.
So, makes sense, though. But it's funny. I get that. I get the, like, boring texting. And I also get the, like, people that have never met me in person or that see me, especially, like, their first time seeing me at the gym. They're just like, oh, my God, I thought you were going to be a bitch. Oh, and I had a friend in high school that said that to me, too. She sat next to me. We had never talked. And she was like, we started talking, and she's like, you're really nice. She's like, I was really scared to sit next to you because I thought you were going to be a bitch, and I thought you weren't going to like me. And I was like, what? Why is that the impression that everyone gets of me? I'm not that serious, you guys, I swear. But my boyfriend said the same thing. He was just like, I saw you at the gym, and not going to lie, you looked like you were going to be a bitch. But I still added you on Instagram. And I was like, well, all right.
That's the safest route, right?
Yeah. You know. Yeah, that's what he did. He's like, I added you. Well, it was funny because I thought he was looking at me at the gym. I like would look up and we would catch eyes and I was like, weird. Okay. And so I would like look away and I don't know. I guess because I'm at the gym, I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. Nobody tried to talk to me. There's always some like weird ass people trying to talk to me or tell me they can spot me if I need a spot when I'm squatting. And I'm just like, I'm good. Like I am fine.
out of all workouts.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't want to, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess I would make like a face. I think I would project an appearance that I really am not, which is like, don't talk to me. But I meant it when I'm at the gym. I'm like, nobody talk to me at the gym because I always get the weirdest requests.
You're there to work.
Yeah. So it was just funny. And then we would like, I kept catching eyes with him and I was like, I kind of feel like this guy's looking at me. Like this isn't just coincidental that we keep catching eyes. Yeah. And then I get home and he added me on Instagram and I was like, I freaking knew it. I knew it. And then yeah, the rest was history. Yeah. And then he was like, you are not what I thought you were going to be in person. Yeah. I was like, is that bad?
I do remember in high school, like, I think the few times that I did see you before, I was like, man, this girl seems intimidating. Like,
that's what I get a lot. And I'm just like,
but then
5'1", 120 pounds, intimidating, but I guess.
But you were nice. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I think I remember you. I took me for a ride when you had your BMW back in school.
I miss that
your car. Little coupe. Yeah, dude, that was so cool. So
that was such a fun car.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and I think after a while, like, I would hear you down the hallway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I mean, it's just getting to know you.
Yeah, it was a lot less intimidating than what I projected.
And it's funny because I've got that from a lot of people. Like, usually they'll say like, oh, when I remember you in high school, like you were always smiling and you always, had a smile on your face. Mm-hmm. Or the opposite, like you look like you were stuck up and you didn't want to talk to anyone.
Exactly.
Which, I would agree because there's times where I was just in my head, you know what I mean? Like thinking about something, especially twirling a pencil in my hand. I remember that all the time, just,
Yeah, just like twirling the pencil, exactly.
And just walking down the hall, completely not in the hallway in my own mind, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I felt like the people that like got to know me, well, like my friends in high school and stuff, they all knew that I was just like a big goofball and I like joked around all the time. Yeah. So like when we were taking pictures, they're just like, oh, I know why you're always smiling. And so I was like, yeah, because you know me, like I'm always talking to you, we're always laughing, like we're good. And then other people that didn't know me, apparently I'm just like straight face all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
which I get.
The last few times I did see you in the gym, like, yeah, you definitely like you're there to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I feel like especially in the gym, that's like where I guess my face just completely changes. I've just had like so many experiences like in college of guys just coming up to me and trying to talk to me, trying
Being
to hit on me, and I'm
weirdos.
just like,
Wow.
I really do not want to have this conversation right now. Like, I am here just for the gym. If you want to see me on campus when I'm walking, you can come talk to me, but please not here.
Yeah.
And so I would get that a lot. And it's funny because my mom even told me that, like, since we go to the gym together, when I was away in college, she would always be like, oh, so-and-so says hi, or so-and-so wants me to tell you that they say hi. They're like, okay. And then I'd come home and I'd see them at the gym, and they would just like kind of smirk at me and keep walking. And I'm just like, what the hell? My mom said that they told me hi and they don't even say hi to me in person.
Yeah.
So I finally asked her, she like kept telling me, and I was like, Mom, how come it is that every time the people that you say want to say hi to me, I see them, they like never say anything to me. Like they'll look at me maybe, but they never say anything to me. And she's like, well, Andrea, you don't have the nicest face at the gym. And I'm like, Mom.
That's a nice way of putting that.
She's like, what? And I'm like, Mom, you trying to tell me I have a resting bitch face, Mom? And she's just like, what? I'm just telling you, like, you have such a pretty smile and you're so nice, but you don't look the nicest at the gym. I was like, okay. And then it just started to make sense after that everyone else would tell me that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't look the nicest at the gym. I never really thought about that, but maybe I don't. And so I was like, oh, it makes sense. Yeah.
Well, that's funny. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I respect it though. I mean, the times that I did, I already knew you before, like,
yeah,
you being athletic. So, I mean, like, I can only imagine you being in the gym and seeing your pictures on Instagram, like, you definitely have your game face on.
Yeah,
you know?
I do for sure. I'm always like, no one talk to me.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I mean, when I was going to the gym every day, Monday through Friday, like, you're on a schedule.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
you're trying to be in and out of there at a certain time.
Yeah, especially when you're sharing it with a bunch of people that you know you don't know if the machine or weights are gonna be for you the next set.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so.
Exactly. Especially anytime. Anytime used to be like such a pain.
I'm not going back to Anytime. I'm looking at other gyms right now.
Go to Volution.
Volution, yeah. We were talking about
amazing.
Volution, and we're thinking about going to the athletic club. I just know it's more expensive there. But
yeah. I know a lot of people that left it though after like the shutdowns and stuff because they were like the ones that took the longest to reopen.
Oh, really?
So many people left it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people did. So maybe that's not a bad thing, but
yeah, maybe.
But
not.
I really like Volution. Volution's been really good to me.
Yeah. I'm interested in using amenities. You know, like I know like the Y and the Yakima Athletic Club had the steam room and the sauna and all that. Like that'd be cool, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just I gotta look at the prices. You know what I mean? I gotta see if it's really worth it. Cause
I think Volution is like 30 or 40 a month. 30, I think, and they have showers there.
Oh, do they?
If you needed to shower there, they have.
Do they have lockers too, or?
Yeah, they have lockers too.
Yeah, that's one thing about Anytime, man. Especially here, like.
Just the cubbies. I hated them.
Yeah, the cubbies.
Because I felt like somebody was gonna steal something from me.
Right. And then like the bathrooms are huge.
Yeah.
And there's no counter space.
Yeah.
Like you literally got a sink and just an empty room and a shower and a toilet. And it's like, dude, where do I put my bag on the floor? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And this one, they have like rows of toilets and then rows of sinks. So it's a big, I mean, the counter is the span of like the toilets.
Oh, I see.
So, and then on the other side, they have like 3 or 4 showers, and they have showers like in men's and women's. Yeah. So they have a good amount of stuff in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Cause I mean, we definitely want to get back into the gym. So like, but I don't want to go to Anytime. Like they were snakes about everything too. When the shutdown happened, like they were still charging me.
Yeah. That's what I heard. They were still charging people.
Yeah, they were.
That sucks.
No refunds. They didn't refund me. They just said.
I hate them.
Yeah, honestly.
And it's the Yakima one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I signed up in the one in Sela, but I think he owns the one in the couple owns here in Yakima.
The Yakima owner owns Sela, Yakima, and I think Sunnyside. And then all the Lower Valley ones are owned by someone else.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, it's just not. I mean, I guess if you're looking for a gym, Anytime is good if it's in terms of your schedule.
I would say no.
But yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, like.
I mean, I would even say like, I don't know, Planet Fitness would even be better than Anytime because it's even cheaper.
Yeah, Planet Fitness is cheaper, and I mean, if you are just getting back into the gym, I would imagine you're using up all the right weights, you know.
And they made a new one where the old Shopco used to be out in West Valley.
Well, yeah, that's right.
So by Anytime.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a grocery outlet there too.
Oh, really?
I just saw that the other day. Man, I was like, oh yeah.
I haven't been on that side of Yakima.
Yeah. I live, well, obviously, because I live like up by Volusia, the new Volusia.
The new one, yeah.
There's quite a few things that they're adding on there. And where I live too, they have quite a few things.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're nice. Those, yeah, we were there in that area, and yeah, they're really nice. I really like how the walls are high. And
yeah, that's what I loved about them was the ceilings. I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. The only thing is that the top cabinets are so tall.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I cannot reach without, I had to buy a little stool, like a little step stool.
Yeah.
So that's what I use because I cannot reach up there. It's so bad.
Baby.
Even like I changed the light.
Oh,
I
yeah.
asked my dad for his like little, he has a ladder. Well, he has like 3 ladders, but like his medium sized ladder.
Oh, wow.
So he brought that over and I like was able to change the light bulb, but that was difficult.
Not
Although
thinking about
they'll do it for you, like you can request it, but I wanted to do it by myself because I'm independent.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I just hate having people in my apartment that I don't need there. So I was like, I can do it if you just leave a light bulb for me. So they did. They left the light bulb for
That's
me.
awesome. I love it. You're like, I'm
it.
independent. Dad,
Yeah.
I need your ladder. No.
Dad, give me your ladder. I know. I'm independent. And I call my boyfriend, can you please help me with this?
Yeah, right. I didn't need y'all.
Exactly.
funny.
That's exactly it. Happens
So-
to me all the time. Reaching up and missing stuff. And I'm like, babe, can you get that? I can't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I asked Lupita to do something, and she's usually asking me to do something right after. I'm like, I'm the one that's asking you to do it. But yeah,
Exactly.
this is what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works out.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny,
my
though.
last question: what advice, or I guess let me word this rightly. I'm trying to come up with a signature question. I'm still trying to figure out how to word it. So, what does being a better version of you mean in Andrea's mind?
In my mind, being a better version of myself would be improving every day on the things that even I think I'm like already good at. So if I think that I'm good at communicating, I'm still trying to better myself at communicating. I still am trying to be a better girlfriend, friend, daughter, anything, cousin.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to learn new things. I'm always attempting, like I said, to just better my skills in general, whether I think I have a weak point that I need to work on or if I feel like I've developed a pretty strong skill set in one area. I'm still trying to improve on them. Like especially communication. I feel like I'm actually really good at communicating, I would say myself.
Yeah.
But I always feel like I'm trying to adjust and get better because I know everyone is so different and like the way that they receive information is different, the way that they communicate is different. So I'm always trying to better myself when it comes to especially communicating and getting my point across and saying things and saying them the way that I want them to be received, you know? So I'm definitely a person that thinks about what I'm going to say before I say it because I want everything to be very intentional. But yeah, I guess that's what would be a better version of myself is just working on things that even I think I'm good at.
Awesome. I love it. That's a great definition of it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on Joel's Mind. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
it
and all
was
your
fun.
insights. And if there's anyone out there, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you or reach out to you or support you?
On Instagram, probably is the best way. Yeah.
And your handle, what is
Chilli Chill, but it's CHILLI_CHILLL. It's a lot, but yeah, that's probably the best way. Just DM me on there if you guys need any help or if you guys like need meal plans or workout plans too. So
Definitely.
I do that.
All right. Awesome. Well, I will make sure to tag you in there so
Sweet.
it's
Thanks.
a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
And thank you again for coming on
Yeah,
the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Just let me know when.
Absolutely.